You've found your way to some Blood Moon Radio bonus content. Hi everyone, welcome to this bonus content for Season 1 of Blood Moon Radio, the Empress Rising. I am so glad that you're here with me today. Those of you who listen to the show know that we offer listeners and people visiting the website, people who may follow us on socials, the opportunity to reach out via blood letters. You can find that on the About page at www.bloodmoonradio.com. You can fill it in anonymously if you like, use a throwaway email, use a fake name, or you can use your real name. And if your letter is selected, you might have it answered on air. You might have it answered in bonus content, either on our YouTube or seasonal bonus content. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to interact that way, head to the website, fill out the form, and who knows, maybe one day you will turn on Blood Moon Radio and I will be talking to you. Hey, our first letter is signed Second Guessing Myself. This says, Dear Blood Moon Radio, a few months ago I made a decision that felt right at the time. I thought it was the responsible thing to do, but the further away I get from it, the more I wonder if I made a mistake. I can't stop thinking about what might have happened if I'd chosen differently. Part of me wants to leave it alone and trust that everything unfolded the way it was supposed to. Another part of me wants to try to go back and make things right, even if that means taking a risk. I'm very sure I made a choice. I'm much less sure it was the right one. Do the cards have any guidance on whether I should revisit this decision or focus on moving forward? That is a tough one. Doesn't feel right yet. I only start pulling them when it feels like the right card. Okay. I am not entirely sure, because you don't give details, what your situation is, second guessing. But the first card that came out is the Hermit. You know, that's a card of solitude or taking time away from something. And it can be soul searching. It can be learning, often associated with spiritual learning. And eventually the Hermit comes out. It's usually got a lantern in the artwork and shines the light, offering to share. The Queen of Pentacles it's a card of generosity. It can represent a woman who gives good advice. It's also associated with there being solutions to the problem, and obviously, as you can see here, there's lots of nature around her. Her connection to nature is one of her strong suits. So I don't know whether that card represents you or someone else in this equation. I'm sensing that your question maybe does have to do with another person, just given the Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles coming out. Both of those cards speak to connections or sharing with other people. The last card that came out is the King of Swords. This card is about coming in at the right time. He takes his time, he has a strategy, and he applies it. You can see the leaves sitting on him here. It signifies his waiting. So altogether, to me, it feels like you've taken some time away from whatever this is and you've learned something. And if you're going to go back in and try to fix what you feel like you made a mistake with, your timing is going to be important. And I think connecting and really thinking about what you need to say. I don't know that going back in again, I don't know the details of the exact details, but from your letter, it sounds as though you have regret, and it's, I think, important to express regret, but that can't be the whole of it, right? If you've really damaged something. So I would say it's not impossible, but how you approach it is going to be very important. Good luck. Maybe you will write back and let us know how things worked out. Dear Blood Moon Radio, I've had an idea for a business for over a year now. Every few months, I get excited about it, make plans, do some work, and then life gets busy and it falls to the side again. I look at people who have built podcasts, brands, and businesses from scratch and wonder how they knew it was worth sticking with it. How do you tell the difference between an idea that just needs more time and an idea that's never really going anywhere? What kept you motivated while building Blood Moon Radio before there was an audience, sponsors, or proof that it could work? Signed, Waiting for a Sign. I think I can resonate with that feeling of starting something and getting partway through, and it's like you're waiting for things to be easy or go a certain way or just line up. And the truth is, and I only know this because I'm old now, I'm in my 40s, and so I've had enough life experience. There's always going to be ups and downs. So you're not always going to feel motivated. Things are not always going to go to plan. Sometimes something's going to be harder. Sometimes you're going to have to shift timelines. Like, when is something happening? I wanted it to happen here. That's not going to happen. You have to be adaptable. And you have to build consistency into your business planning. And then once your business is running, build consistency into your business. So a good example of that is, for me, just how life was when I started Blood Moon Radio. I knew I needed to monetize. And the best way to do that is to produce a lot of episodes. But I knew that I was unlikely to meet a very strenuous recording and editing timeline for various reasons. And so I made the choice to release bi-weekly because I knew I could be consistent with it and I could consistently put out the quality of episodes that I wanted. I knew that I would need time to edit and time to record, and I knew that I'm a bit of a thinker and a planner, and I would want an arc to the season and to have the space to plan things out and move things around if needed. And so that was a decision I made, and it worked, right? I've been able to release consistently. I've made it past the two big early podcasting thresholds of 3 episodes and 20 episodes because I chose that, amongst other things, as a way to be consistent. The second piece of advice that I would give you is that frequently we tend to think if things aren't successful right off the hop, then they aren't an idea worth pursuing. This is a very unrealistic expectation. Most businesses take years to get to a point. You have to have a plan for your first couple of years. How are you going to support yourself? How are you going to fund the company? And you have to be prepared to shift those plans because life will happen. And sometimes things will change. Funding may not come through, or something may happen personally that affects what you have. And early money, making money early on, is not an indicator. Often it's an indicator of what industry you're in, right? Like when I started the construction company with my ex-husband, as long as you plan things out for your first job well and confront that, you're going to have a fair amount of money sitting in your bank account by the time you're done. It's a much smaller timeline, depending on the length of project, to float everything on your own than it is with other businesses, right? And there's all sorts of things that play into that. Your profit margins, what industry are you in? Again, what decisions have you had to make for how things are going to run, and how does that affect your timeline for growth? So it's okay for things to move slow. It's okay to start part-time if you have to. Everybody is always like, oh, you have to commit to your business full-time from the start. And in order to do that, you have to have 2 years of your household expenses available to you, plus the money to fund the company, with the expectation that you won't be making consistent income that whole time, and the company won't be able to float itself. And if you can't do that, then your chances decrease. And I do think there is probably a large percentage of companies that maybe could do well, but are in that part-time work phase, and people get burnt out, they peter out, or they give up. But if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. You just have to commit. You have to be committed. You have to believe. And what are your other motivations for your business idea? Is it just to make money? There's lots of ways in the world to make money that probably take less effort, definitely take less personal investment in terms of finance and your time, your stress levels, how much energy you want to give something, than running a business. So if you don't have outside motivation for running the business, other than it's just to make money, maybe it's not the best decision unless you're wealthy enough that you can do those things without much stress. The last piece of advice that I would offer to you would be to accept outside help. Early on in business, particularly if your budget is small, you want to try to do everything yourself. You may go back and listen to my episode with Joanna Jang from the Operations Genius about this. That's a fractional VA service that she created because of her experience in entrepreneurship. And she said, I'm not good at most things, so I needed outside help, or it was taking all my time and it was frustrating. And a lot of people are like that, right? You do not have to be good at everything. You do not have to do everything yourself. Seek outside help. Find a business consultant who you can work with. Use VA services, fractional VA services. If you are not going to do your bookkeeping, if you're constantly going to push it aside, I'm talking to myself right now, hire a bookkeeper. Find a way to do it. Take that off your plate. Focus on the parts that you are good at. Put your energy into that. This is your business, but you do yourself no favors and you do the business no favors by being stubborn and not utilizing people who specialize in things that can make your business better and make your life and your work-life balance much, much better. So that would be my advice. The only person who's going to know if it's worthwhile is you. And I think you have to look at what's motivating you to run this business. Blood Moon Radio may be about stories, but helping people tell their own is part of my work too. Through Wolfsbane Media Solutions, I offer consulting for podcasts, media brands, and creative businesses. If you've been dreaming about starting something of your own, I'd love to help. Book a call today through the Blood Moon Radio contact form, and we can start building your dream together. Season 2 launches this August, but don't worry, we've got more bonus content for you throughout the summer while you wait for the magic to begin again. Until next season, stay curious, stay connected, and keep following what calls you. See you soon.